On to the final question in this paper. It says a computer shop assembles computers using items bought from several suppliers. A text file stock.txt contains information about each item. Information for each item is stored as a single line in stock.txt, right in the format where item number, supply code, description. And it says item num is 4 numeric characters, unique for each item in the range, well, yeah, like sort of 0001 to 5999. The supply code is 3 alphabetic characters, and the description a string, which is a minimum of 12 characters. Right, the file is organized in ascending order of item num and does not contain all possible values in the range. A program has defined these modules. So only alpha called with a string parameter and returns true if the string only contains alphabetic characters, otherwise returns false. So basically, checks if it only has letters. Right then, CheckInfo is called with a parameter of string representing one line of information. It checks to see whether the item information in the string is valid and returns true if the item information is valid, otherwise it returns false. Okay, so I think the way we want to do this is basically we can have each validation, just as a separate if statement, and if any of them are false, well, we then just immediately return false, right? So yeah, if any of the validations fail, then we return false. And that means that if we get to the end of the function and none of the validations have returned false, well, that means that of course, all the validations are passed, right? So it's going to be valid information. Now, as always, if you want this starter code, you see we've got this only alpha already implemented. We've also got, if I move across, we've also got the stock.txt, with some sort of valid test data. Well, again, just go to the exam questions, choose the correct paper, the correct question, and then just I think click on Open in Code Editor. All right, and that will automatically open here. Right, so let's just go ahead and start trying to code this. We'll say function. This will be CheckInfo. And right, this takes a line as a parameter. Right, then we're just going to go returns boolean. Now, I did actually look at the mark scheme because I was a bit unsure, how they would do this. Whether, for example, whether string to num would, sort of do this properly. And I mean, one thing I did notice is that actually they immediately check the length of the string. And they check that the length of the string, well, if it's less than 19, right, then it means it's going to be invalid. And the reason for that is, well, this one should be 4, right, this one should be 3, so 7, then this one should be 12. So of course, add those all together, that's 19, right? So if the if the line is has a length less than 19, right, that's going to be invalid. So you could do that if you want. You just go here, let's say if length of line, and let me just move the mouse. If this is less than 19, right, then we just want to go return false. All right, I mean, so yeah, that's how you could do it. And to be honest, in the exam, I probably wouldn't have done that. I mean, that wouldn't be the way that I would have, thought of how to do it. I mean, I probably would have started by just declaring 3 variables. And, really, I guess either way is okay, to be honest. Right, let's go item num. We also want to go the supply code and then also description. So let's go supply and let's go description. Okay, these are all going to be type string. And then if we think, well, we just want to think how to extract this from the string. And, to be honest, the reason they do have the length less than 19 is because, well, they might say that, let's say if you try to start from, I don't know, position 8 in a string that only has 6 characters, that'll give an error. I mean, that just depends on, how like left, mid and right are implemented. I think most languages actually, they don't give an error. But yeah, pseudocode is kind of undefined. So I mean, if we want, we'll just do what they've done, right? So let's go length of line. If this is less than 19, okay, then we'll just return false. All right, then let's go end if, and then if it passes that one, then I guess let's just try and extract the line num, the item num. And since this starts from the left, well, we can then just use left. And this will then be line, and we want, the 4 leftmost characters. Right, the next one, the supplier. Well, here we can then use mid. Right, and again, the first parameter is just going to be the string we're extracting from, so line. right, the starting position, well, if item num is 4, then the starting position of the next one will be 5. Right, so here we're starting from 5, and it says the supply code should just be 3 alphabetic characters. Now, if we get the description, we could do this either using mid, right, or using right. I think I'm going to use right, although they're actually, quite similar, really. Right, let's go line. And then basically, well, we just want all of the characters except for, I guess, the first 7. So the way we do that, well, we're just going to do the length of line minus 7, right? And yeah, that will get all of the, I guess all of the right characters except for the first 7. Right, that's length of line and minus 7. And to be honest, I'm going to just test this now, just to check we've extracted things properly. I mean, in the exam, obviously, well, don't have these output statements. But yeah, I'm going to do it here just because, well, I don't want to sort of move on to the next step, in case these are wrong. Because yeah, well, of course, then it means the next step is not going to work. Right, let's go end function, and let's just go output. We'll go CheckInfo, and I'm just going to copy this first one as an example. Okay, so let's run this. And yeah, this seems to work. Okay, so yeah, item number, supplier, and then description. And alright, so I'm not sure why I said false here. Right, that should be true. Because, right, if we get to the end and, none of these validations have failed, again, right, then it's going to be, then it's going to be valid. Okay, so, yeah, I mean, this one we've done already, so I'm just going to delete that. Right, the next one, I mean, I guess we can then, we can then do this one probably. So the way we can do that, I mean, here, right, num to string should just work. Because, I mean, in most languages, if you have, let's say, a string like, 0001, right, most languages will just convert that into 1. So yeah, they'll consider the leading zeros as just, meaningless, basically. So I'm just going to say, right, if, and let's go num to, I guess first we need to check if it's a valid number. So that's going to be is num. Right, so is num, and this will be the item num. Right, and I mean, here we want to check if this is false. Yeah, so if this equals false, right, or then we just go num, in fact, no, sorry, string to num, and this will be, again, item num. So I guess we can say, well, if this is greater than, 599, right, like this, yeah, or if string to num, right, I'm just going to move this across a little bit. Right, or yeah, string to num of item num is, I guess, what, less than 1. Yeah, this should be okay, and then we're also just going to return false. Right, let's go end if, and then I think just the last condition, I mean, hopefully that's true, we'll test them all in a minute. Right, the last condition, yeah, this one should just be 3 alphabetic characters. So let's say here, and I mean here, well, this is where we use this, yeah, only alpha, right, we've already implemented that, or yeah, the programmer has already implemented that. So if only alpha of supplier equals false, right, well, then we just return false. And yeah, then if we go end if, and then again, if it passes all of these, right, it's just going to return true. So let's just try and test these one by one. I mean, now the first one, I mean, yeah, well, I mean, I think this length of line, right, that's fairly obvious. We don't need to test that. Let's try the next one. So let's try, for example, 4 zeros. Okay, this should say false. Yeah, okay, that says false. I mean, let's try something bigger, like 6,000. Yeah, that also says false. I mean, let's try something valid, maybe, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah, so this says true. And now I guess the next one, well, let's try, maybe here, let's make this a, like a, maybe just make it a 1. Okay, so I noticed there was actually just a small error in this, yeah, only alpha that I'd implemented before, where I think, well, I was checking if it was like alphanumeric, okay, so numbers were also valid, because yeah, honestly, I think I just copied and pasted this code from, another question I did, but yeah, this one, it should only be alphabetic. All right, and now hopefully if we try, what, AA1, right, this should say false, because yeah, this condition now should say false. Yeah, okay, right. Looking at part B, it says a new module is defined, right, AddItem. This is called with a parameter of type string representing valid information for a new item that is not currently in the stock.txt file. It then creates a file, well, new file, right, new stock.txt from the contents of the file stock.txt, and adds the new item information at the appropriate place in the new stock.txt. Right, as a reminder, stock.txt is organised in ascending order of item num and does not contain all possible values in the range. So I mean, yeah, this one then, basically this wants us to copy, stock.txt and then just insert this new item in the correct position. Okay, so yeah, let's just open this and we'll try and have a go at this. Right, so it's going to be procedure, it's add item, and then if we look at this example here, yeah, this just takes a string. So I mean, maybe let's call this new item. Right, let's just end the procedure. And then, let's think about the variables we need. So one, I mean, we're probably going to want a variable to store kind of the, let's say, the item num of the current line. And I guess we also need the item num, of this new item. So let's maybe go declare, let's say like old item num, and let's also go, new item num. Okay, yeah, they're both going to be integers. Now, if we're reading from a file, we'll also want a line, right, in order to store the contents of the line we're reading. Yeah, I think we're also going to want a variable for added, if we've already added the line. Because let's say, for example, here, we choose 900. And actually, you can see here, I've already done this. So let's load up. Okay, there we go. Right, so yeah, if we want to if we want to add the item, 900, basically we're going to keep looping through until we find, I guess, yeah, until we get to a line that has kind of a higher item num than the one we're trying to add, right? So, for example, 900 is bigger than 1, right? Therefore, no, we go to the next one. Of course, yeah, bigger than 26, go to the next one, right? Bigger than 839, go to the next one. But then because it's smaller than 1,000 and 1,204, right? Then we want to add it before this one. But of course, we only want to add it one time, right? And that's why we're going to need some boolean just to kind of store if we've already added. So let's maybe say already added. And yeah, I mean, let's also maybe create some constants, right? Just for the file names, although you don't have to do this. So let's say old file, and right, that's just going to be stock.txt. And then if we go constant, let's go new file. Right, that is going to be what I think new stock.txt. Okay, so yeah, then maybe first let's try and actually get the new item num. So in this case, this will just be 900. So what we're going to do, let's go new item num. And I mean, basically we want left. So if we go left of new item and then 4, but the problem is, this is going to be a string. So then what we need is, as before, we need string to num. And yeah, we can do it all in one line like this. Okay, and then I think that should be fine. I mean, now let's just open the files. So the old, old file. Right, old file is going to be for read, okay, because we're reading this file. But then if we go open file, and then new file, right, this is going to be for write. Okay, and then I think now we can probably just loop through the file. So let's go while, right, then we'll say not, and while not the end of the file. And yeah, this is the old file, okay, this is the one we're reading. Right, again, this is optional in the new syllabus, right, but I'm just going to include it anyway. Right, then what we want to do, I guess we just want to read this line. So yeah, and in fact, actually, let's just go ahead and set this already added, and we'll just set this to false. So here then, let's just go read file, and we're reading the old file, and we're reading that into the line variable that we've declared. Right, and then since we've done that, let's just get the new item num. Okay, no, sorry, right, get the old item num. Right, so this is the one from the file. Okay, so old item num, again, it's going to be string to num. And we're just going to do as we've done before. Let's go left. Right, this is going to be line. Okay, because, this is the current line that we've just read in the file. And as before, it's going to be the 4 leftmost characters. And then I think what we can do, I mean, let's just have an if statement. So we will say, if the old item num is greater than the new item num, right, then this is where we want to insert the this is where we want to kind of write this is where we want to write the new item. So if we go write file, and here we're writing to the new file, and the thing we're writing is new item. Alright, so yeah, this will insert it first, and I mean then we can actually just go write file, and then we just want to write to the old file, and this will be the line. Alright, and let's make sure in here, let's set already added let's set this to true. And also here actually we're also going to need to check, so we only want to add if already added equals false, right, and if the old item num is greater than the new item num. And I mean hopefully if there's no mistakes this should work, because what we're going to do, let's say for example the first one, the old item num is smaller than the new item num, right, so yeah, this is not going to go inside this loop. Okay, so then it's just going to write. And I guess, this should be new file. Okay, so we're writing to the new file. And then, of course, like when we get to, I guess this one, right, 1204, then what's going to happen is, well, first it's going to write the new line, kind of this new item, right? Then it's just going to write the original line, which was, well, this, 1204 line. And I mean, let's just remember just to close the file at the end, or well, close the files. So this is what old file, and also close file, and this will be new file. Alright, and then I guess, then let's just test this to see if it works. Alright, probably there's some mistakes, but let's try. Okay, expected then. Right, where is that? Right, line 42. Okay, alright, because I guess I forgot the and here. Hang on. Alright, let's try again. Okay, so that's created a file, but has it worked? Yes, if we see, well, we've got 126.839, and then, it seems that this has worked. I mean, we can try another one, just see if this also works. Let's try, for example, I don't know, maybe 2... maybe 03. So this should, of course, insert it after this one, right? And I'm just going to go back to the original stock, and then if we run it again, so it's now created this new stock, and we've got 02, and then here we've got 03. Right, guys, so I mean, hopefully hopefully this makes sense. If you've got any questions, ask in the comments, ask on Discord, and hope to see you in the next video.